Howdy! Kanaju here to share some pro tips I picked up while completing No Man's Sky Expedition 3, Cartographers. It took me about 3.5 hours from start to finish to complete the expedition, and if you're trying to complete it as soon as possible to earn the cool rewards, or just stuck and looking for some help, then you've come to the right place. Now, I could probably do an entire walkthrough demonstrating the best order to attempt each milestone, but for brevity's sake, I have distilled all that into a quick video, so that you can get back into the action as soon as possible. Most of these tips can be applied to future expeditions too, so I hope you'll find them as useful as I have. Without further ado, let's start at the beginning. So first things first, find some shelter from the toxic weather, open your pause menu. Check out the Expedition tab. Now all of these milestones may look neatly arranged, but in reality they're quite jumbled. You see, completing them in order is guaranteed to extend your playtime. But I'm a busy guy, so I recommend going through all of your milestones and making note of which ones you can complete as quickly as possible to earn an easy upgrade, or passively as you work on the rest. For example, some of these you don't really need to worry about at all, since you'll pretty much complete them automatically. These include the Pilgrim, Master of Elements, and Cross Country. Instead, you should pay attention to the milestones that require repetitive tasks, for large quantities of an item. These include Geologist, Botanist, the Complete Fauna, the Navigator, Herbicide, Detectorist, and the Archaeologist. For the Geologist, Botanist, and Complete Fauna milestones, you're going to need to scan a ton of rocks, plants, and animals. So don't wait to get started. As soon as you can, you should be scanning everything you see. Every pebble, every mushroom, every crab. In doing so, you're saving yourself the burden of having to do them all later. Additionally, scanning rocks and plants reveals their secondary elements. So that means as you mine and collect resources, you're also going to be picking up some extra goodies that'll come in handy later, such as ammonia and oxygen. And if you're having trouble completing these milestones, remember to check caves and underwater. Additionally, craters often contain rocks that aren't found anywhere else. And remember, if you can't find a critter, check your Discovery tab for a hint about where to look. So while you're out exploring and gathering resources, remember to keep an eye on your analysis visor to complete the Herbicide, Detectorist, and Archaeologist milestones. Herbicide is easy. Just kill every plant that looks at you weird, or tries to take a bite out of you, and that includes those gassy fellas you find in caves. Now Detectorist is an odd one, since the icon on the badge doesn't exactly tell you which items you'll need to complete it. So it's a good idea to collect as many buried technology modules as you can so you can easily unlock blueprints later. But for this patch, you'll need to dig up buried caches, subterranean organic structures, and buried mineral formations. So if you see anything buried with your analysis visor, I would dig it up if it's not too out of the way. That includes the bones found at natural burial sites, marked with gold icons. If you dig all those things up as you pass, you'll have these knocked down in no time, nothing to it. The last passive milestone I want to cover is the Navigator. For the Any Port in a Storm patch, you'll need to shelter in an NPC structure. These can be spotted with your analysis visor or detected with an exocraft scanner. Regardless, always save your game and chart the sector when you can. Not only is it a good habit to save often, you'll need to chart 4 undiscovered sectors for this milestone. And emphasis on undiscovered. Now, you could disable your internet, which would cause every waypoint to be undiscovered, but that's a lot of work and kind of inconvenient. Instead, I would just make a habit of charting every save point you pass. So by the end of it, you should have 4 under your belt. Also, if you come across an abandoned building, be sure to collect 3 larval cores. You'll need them to repair your ship later. You'll be glad when you don't have to go looking for them. You can even use your exocraft for protection. So besides these, which milestones can you complete right off the bat for easy rewards? Well, firstly let me remind you to always collect milestone rewards when they become available to you. The game gives you a ton of useful tech and resources for completing milestones. These will make your early game much easier, and some of the specific items you're given, such as Gravitino balls, will be needed later. So always pay attention to your ship's broken pieces and future milestone requirements before tossing something potentially useful. Anyway, back to those simple milestones. First off, get in and out of your ship. Congratulations, you've completed your first milestone. Now collect your reward and install a terrain manipulator, and bam, another one down. Chances are you already hit from a storm, if not, you will soon. Now, looking ahead, you could dig a tunnel until you complete the Fear the Sun. It should only take a couple of minutes of tunneling underground to get a quick reward. And also, I would recommend adopting a companion as soon as possible. Before you get an exocraft, walking around on the planet can be a bit of a slog. So by adopting a powerful steed, you can gallop majestically and quickly between objectives. I personally recommend those big stone guys. Their large size makes them quite fast for riding. You could also attempt the Hills Are Alive and Rocketman if you like, but I'd wait until you get at least an S-Class movement module to improve your jetpack and give you bigger air. By the way, I'd usually tell you to find the tallest, pointiest point to jump off of, but I accidentally discovered I could also earn the milestone on the way up. Funny enough. In case that doesn't work though, when you get to the top, jetpack as high as possible from the peak before falling for maximum air. I've tried, doing short bursts to stay airborne, but I've found that the big boost seems to work better. Also, don't forget to aim for the lowest point below. Pro tip, top off your life support and toxic protection before you start the climb. Trying to refill halfway up, it won't work, it will end in misery. Also, I use my pilgrim to get about halfway up. I would try and get all the way up, but there's this weird camera bug that causes me to fall off, and it will happen to you most likely, so if you want to use your pilgrim to get halfway up, just be prepared to jump out as soon as you lose grip. Alrighty, so there's still a ton of tips left, but I'm trying to keep this brief. So it's time for a lightning round. Here we go. Use the signal booster early to complete a milestone and find buildings for your other milestones. Pulpy roots refill your toxic protection. Eating meat refills your health. Install a personal refiner in your backpack as soon as you get the blueprint. You won't need to wait around to process materials any longer. When you're building a base, build it near your ship but not on top of it, otherwise other players can't use their portable tech. Build a blueprint analyzer to unlock solar panel and Minotaur exobase plans as soon as you can. You can use all those buried tech modules you've been gathering. For power surplus, build 6 solar panels and a battery to power your teleporter. Then after you get the achievement, deconstruct 4 of those to save for later. Install a mining laser and radar array on your Minotaur as soon as possible. The mining laser is super efficient for gathering materials, and the radar array can be used to instantly locate the trading post you'll need to visit for Spaceport Alpha. And once you're at the spaceport, purchase as many materials as you like. You won't need the money for anything else in the expedition, and you can't buy another ship, so might as well spend it on useful materials. Once you get the blueprint, install the survey device and keep an eye out for mineral deposits. Once you find one, set up a base there, and install a couple of mineral extractors, powered by those extra solar panels from the other base. And make sure you connect them to a supply depot. The Industrialist milestone only completes when you remove materials from that supply depot, not when they actually extract it. Also, remember to add a teleporter to complete the Network Online milestone. Upload your base to save your progress while you're at it. Remember, all of the missing recipes you need can be learned through other milestones, so make sure you look ahead if you feel like you're missing something. If you need Herox specifically, visiting a trading post will automatically give you that recipe. If you can't find a trading post or you're in a hurry, you might look for floating crystals. They occasionally contain Herox. When you finally repair your ship, don't leave the atmosphere yet. Fly just above the surface until you complete the acrobat. Then, when you land at a space station, you'll be tempted to use your new station override. I wouldn't do it. Don't do it. It doesn't work, and it will consume your only station override. It might work in a couple months, no one knows, but best to hold on to it for now. The first rendezvous is a large archive building, so if you spot it before you land, save yourself some time and launch fuel, and just go ahead and land at the archive building. For Interstellar, I would actually select the Rendezvous 2 as your active objective. This will guide you to the system you need to visit to complete the expedition, so it will save you a jump. Rendezvous 2 is located at a portal, so Keep an eye out for a portal nearby, but I would also just look for a big group of communication stations. They should point you in the right direction. And lastly, always remember to collect those phase and final rewards too. So I know you're remembering to collect all of your milestone rewards. When you complete a phase, you also get exclusive rewards for your other profiles, as well as the final reward. So make sure you collect those before you close out your game, and save afterwards too. And that's it. There are doubtless other ways to make things more efficient, but at the end of the day, it's a game. So enjoy it. If you have some pro tips to share, or something you'd like help with, feel free to comment below. Thanks for giving my video a watch. I'm a really small channel, so if you found any of these tips helpful, then leaving a like is the perfect way to say thanks. Subscribing is optional, but it goes a really long way. Until next time, have a good one, and happy expeditioning.